We're going to be talking about direct and indirect speech. And this is not something new to you guys, right? Whenever we talk, whenever we relate what someone else has said, we use indirect or reported speech. Whenever we say exactly what someone has said, we use something called direct speech. So if you want to tell your friend what I said in class, right? For example, I said, please do all your homework. If I said, your homework is due for Tuesday, right? And if you had to tell your friend exactly what I said, then you would be using direct speech. You would say, ma'am said, please do all your homework due for Tuesday. Okay? But if you had to tell your friend what I said using reported speech, you'd report what I said, right? It would usually be in the past tense. You would say, ma'am said that we should complete our homework for Tuesday. Okay, do you see how in reported speech I'm reporting what the person said, but I'm kind of changing the pronouns. I'm changing all the I's to you, for example. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a few examples so that you can get used to it. Remember, it's nothing new to you. You use it all the time. Every time you speak to someone, you're going to be using direct and indirect speech, regardless of whether you're realizing it or not, right? So when we're doing English, we're just polishing the way in which you interact with people, okay? So, and also the way you write down how you interact. That's all we're doing. Okay, so let's call this guy John. John tells Annie, Annie's the girl, I won the soccer match. Okay. Then Annie goes and tells her friend, I wrote Jason here. Okay, let's just change it to John. Right. So Annie tells her friend what John said. She says, John said that he won the soccer match. Can you see how I over here changes to he? Let's do another example. So the teacher tells the girl, don't chew gum in school, right? Then the girl goes and tells her dad what her teacher said, right? She says, my teacher told me not to chew gum in school. Do you see how it's basically delivering the same message, but it's in a different form, okay? Instead of saying, my teacher told me don't chew gum in school, she's saying, my teacher told me not to chew gum in school. But if she said, my teacher told me don't chew gum in school, that would still be correct, okay? So let's see the different ways in which we can do that. So there are many rules for this, right? There are a few rules, maybe at least 10 rules, okay? But you don't need to now like memorize the rules and do it like how you would memorize history, for example. This should come to you naturally, and you're going to see why, right? So let's do an example first. If I have direct speech, and I'm going to repeat again, direct speech is when you tell someone exactly what someone else has said without changing anything. So you're basically quoting exactly what they said, right? So if in direct speech I say, Jensen said to Ellie, Jason said to Ellie, I will call you tomorrow. The important thing that you need to look for are the main verb of the sentence, right? We call the main verb of the sentence the introductory verb, and I'm going to highlight that in this awesome neon color. All right. So, what is the introductory verb, and how do I find it? All right. So the introductory verbs always come before the quotation marks. The quotation marks are these little guys that kind of enclose what someone has said. All right, it's like those bunny ears. So introductory verbs would be like says, explained, commented, asked, all of those verbs, okay, that explains what the subject, Jason, is doing. All right, so why is the introductory verb so important? We need the introductory verb to tell us the tense of the sentence, right? The tense can be past, can be present, or can be future. All right. In this case, tell me what the tense of the introductory verb is. For the introductory verb says. Is it past? Is it present? Or is it future? It's present. Well done. Right. And what's the past tense of says? Yes, the past tense is said. All right. Said or has said. Well done. So guys, now that I have that, I have the key, right? The main key that's going to tell me when I'm relating this to someone else, right? If I have to take this direct speech and relate it to someone else using indirect speech, and another name for indirect speech is reported speech, right? So if I have to relate it that way, what is going to change and what is going to stay the same? So because the introductory verb is in the present tense, a lot of things are going to stay the same, and I'll show you. So usually when you're changing from direct to indirect speech, words like tomorrow will become the next day, right? If I'm changing from present to past tense. But because this introductory verb is in the present tense, everything in my sentence here will stay in the present tense. So you'll relate it as Jason tells Ellie that he will call her tomorrow, right? But if this verb was in the past tense, if it wasn't said, but it was, if it wasn't say, but it was said, okay, then everything in the sentence would change, right? Let's see what would change. So it will be Jason tells Ali that he will becomes, because now everything is changing to the past tense. What does will become, guys? Who can answer this for me? Will becomes would, right? Good, good, Sibu. Right. And tomorrow, what does tomorrow become? The next day. Can you see there's like strict rules for this? Like, you know, I'm not just gonna pop out an answer from anywhere. It needs to come from a specific place, right? So let's go over some of the transition words. Every time we're moving from we relating something in the past tense, okay, then certain words need to change. So if I tell Sibu, tomorrow we will be writing a test, right? And then Sibu tells Amma like the next week, Ma'am said what I said, right? So he'll say, Ma'am said that we were going to be writing a test the next day. Okay, because he can't say tomorrow because tomorrow is long past, it's gone. Okay. So the word tomorrow becomes the next day or the following day. The word today becomes that day. Yesterday becomes the previous day or the day before. Next week becomes the following week. Last week's becomes the week before or the previous week. Now becomes then. This becomes that. Here becomes there. So these things are very important. This is what you need to like remember. Okay, this is like the only thing you need to remember here. We're going to be using it all the time. So let's do some example sentences together. I'm going to help you guys with the first few, and then you guys are going to get in the group and you're going to be able to help me with the rest, right? Question number 1. He said, she always wears a coat. First thing you need to do when changing from direct to indirect speech, because remember, this is direct speech. And just to recap, direct speech is when you relate what someone has said, but you don't change any of the words that they say. You say it in exactly the same way. So for example, Kian said, Eish ma'am, do we have to get homework today, right? And then Lesejo tells Kayla what Kian said. And Lesejo would say, Kian said, Eish ma'am, why do we have to get homework today, for example, right? So can you see how she's not changing anything that he has said? But when we're changing things from direct to indirect speech, we're changing things, right? We're making it sound like it was being reported, not exactly what was said. So the first thing we need to see is, what is my introductory verb here? Tell me in the chat, what is my introductory verb? Said, well done, right? And said is in the past tense. So that means that everything now must go in the past tense. So he said that, and you can use the word that, or you don't have to use the word that. And I'm going to show you the two ways. She always wears a coat. Nothing else changes here, right? Or you can also, you don't have to use the word that. You can just say, she said, he said, she always wears a coat. That's also fine. All right, guys. Moving on. She complained, I am always looking for my keys. What is the introductory verb in this sentence? And what is the tense of the verb? Is it past? Is it present? Complained, well done, and it is in the past tense. Excellent, guys. Yeah, so everything now, when I'm changing it to indirect speech, needs to be in the past tense. So try to answer this in the chat. Let's see what you guys get. Try to change it to indirect speech. And I want you to try regardless of whether it's right or wrong. That's not the point of this. Let's hear some answers from Gabby, Amma, Amy, Kayla, Kian, Michael. Okay, so I see Christopher said she complained that she was always looking for her keys, and Mo has said she was complaining. Okay, so Mo, I want you to keep remember that she was complaining is a different kind of a verb, all right, a tense rather. So just keep it as she complained. Ted says she complained that she was looking for keys. Excellent, guys. So that's just how you're going to say it. She complained that she, remember that I becomes she, am becomes was, because now we're changing it to the past tense. Always looking for her, my becomes her, keys. All right, do you see how simple that is? You literally need to just use your common sense. Okay. All right. He said, I am lost. He said, I am lost. Well done, Michael. I'm literally gonna copy and paste what you said here. Right? So he said that he was lost. How do you know that it needs to be in the past tense? Because of that introductory verb that I highlighted. All right. Moving on. Right. Lost my dog, exclaimed the child. This one here, right, same thing, same process. But can you guys see how the quotation marks come before the verb here? All right, that's also another way of putting direct speech. So first of all, the word exclaimed is the introductory verb and it's in the past tense. So write me a sentence for indirect speech. Start with the child, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Christopher has said, the child exclaims that he or she has lost his or her dog. All right, well done. Excellent. So can you see that, can you see the change in verb here? Right, let's just see what verbs we've changed. Okay, so we have changed our pronouns. Instead of saying I've, we've changed it to he or she. Okay, moving on. She announced, I am going to the coast next week. What is the tense of this introductory verb? Tell me the tense of the verb first. It's in the past tense, right? When you announced something. Okay, so let's put this into indirect speech. I see Emma has already answered me. She announced that she is going to the coast next week. The first part of your sentence is right. She announced is correct. But something's incorrect there. Remember, everything's changing into the past tense. Right, so can you see the words I've underlined, guys? Is changes to was, am changes to are, etc. Next week changes to the following week. So Ted says, she announced that she was going to the coast next week. That she was going to the coast. Remember, next week changes to the following week because we see that our introductory verb is in the past tense. So everything in the sentence needs to be in the past tense. All right. If you're relating this sentence and you're telling someone what someone said, but you're saying it a year ago from when this person said it, you can't say she announced that she is going to the coast next week. Next week could mean a week from now, but you're actually talking about a year back. All right. So we just say the following week. And I see Christopher has gotten that correct as well. It's awesome that you're trying. I mean, I'm really proud of you today, Sibu. The only way you guys are going to learn is if you try, right? Okay, so number 6. She said, I have written 3 letters for my friend. First of all, the introductory verb here is in the past tense. It's said, all right? How do we put this in indirect speech? Oh, and I'm going to highlight the verb here. The verb is has. There's a slight change that's going to happen here. So write down your answers for me. And I want answers from those who have been quiet. If you've been quiet, you know who you are. Okay, let's see what Lisejo said. Lisejo said she said that she had written 3 letters to her friend. Well done. Right. Okay. Right. So guys, can you see how have written becomes had written? Because now we're changing it to the past tense. And this is basically the way we talk, right? We don't realize, but this is the way we talk. And sometimes we don't say the right things. And this is a practice for how we can correct the way we say things, right? Gabby says she said that she had written. Excellent. The next one. She remarked with joy, my friend gave me a bar of chocolate. This should be relatively easy. I want answers from you guys. I want answers from Amy, from Kayla. Kayla, you haven't been in my classes for a while. I haven't seen you this week. Are you all right, my girl? Okay, so I see one answer from Christopher. Okay, and I'm going to use Christopher's answer because it is correct. Before we move on, Michael says she remarked with joy that her friend gave her a chocolate. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Gabby says she remarked with joy that her friend gave her. And I don't know why you guys are missing a bar of chocolate. But that's correct anyway. Gave her a bar of chocolate. Well done, Amy. Well done, Mo. Okay. Moving on. He said, I will finish my report in 2 days. Now, guys, this introductory verb is also in the past tense. So everything here changes to the past tense. And I can see how quickly you guys type. You guys are typing really fast, and that's awesome. The grade 7s type really, really slow. I don't know if it's their age or they're just not. Or maybe they type in like a WhatsApp language and it's difficult to type in full. Okay, so let's see what Michael has said. Michael said, he said that he will finish his report in 2 days. Everything's correct besides one verb there. Will changes to would in the past tense, right? So he said that he would finish his report in 2 days. Okay, well done, Chris. Okay, so we're nearly reaching the end here. I just want to cover all the different types of sentences you can get before we end the call. I can speak English, she commented haughtily. When you comment haughtily, you're kind of like proud of yourself. So this is also in the past tense. Let's hear from Lee. Let's hear from Amma. And I'm just randomly pointing out people here. Gabby and Kayla. I still haven't heard from Kayla. And your answer is correct, Gabby. So guys, you can start with she and then fill in the blanks. I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to answer this.
Number 13, ma'am.
Number 9.
9.
So I see Christopher has answered it already. She commented haughtily that she, now remember, can changes to could in the past tense, right? That she could speak English, right? But guys, if I have just the word commence is in the present tense. So then I wouldn't change the word could. Could would change, could would stay as can. She comments haughtily that she can speak English, all right? Just showing you that little change. Okay, for the next one, I'm going to point out a certain group of people who I want to answer me, right? So the rest of you should not answer me. Okay, and I see Lee has answered me. Ah, Lee's already answered me. Okay, but you guys gotta wait for me. I know you're honest to answer, but you have to wait for me. She said that she must go to the bank. Okay, I'm copying and pasting Lee's answer here. Let's see if it's correct. So first of all, we need to look at the tense of this sentence, right guys? What is the tense of the sentence? I look for my introductory verb. Are you sure it's the past tense though? Because I'm pretty sure it's the present tense.
She said, ma'am.
Can you see how it's the present tense? The word says is in the present, right? So everything here needs to be in the present. So instead of said, it's going to be says, right? She says that she must go to the bank and get some money. Yeah, well done. Yeah, the rest of that is fine. Thank you. Moving on. So I'm going to call out a certain group of people and those people are going to answer me, right? The rest of you need to shush. Okay, so in this group, I want Sibu, Mo, Michael, and Neseho. Just the 4 of you. Sibu, Mo, Michael, and Neseho to answer number 11 for me. This one's a little bit difficult, all right? So I want you guys to think about it. It's not difficult, it's tricky. And I've given you clues by bolding the words. So it's Sibu, Michael, Mo, and Lesego. Okay, I'm seeing an answer from Lesego and Mo. Lesego says he said that he had to submit that assignment by 3 p.m. the next day. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste her answer and let's evaluate it. Okay, so first of all, her tense is correct. She kept the word said, that he had to have becomes had. Excellent, Lesego. To submit this becomes that. Well done. By 3 p.m. tomorrow becomes the next day. Well done, Lesego. Michael said that he had to submit that assignment by 3 p.m. Just add the next day, Michael. Well done. Teddy said he said I must submit the assignment by 3 p.m. the following day. Oh, the following day. That's an interesting twist. I love that. Just remember that I changes to he, right? Because now we're relating what he says. Okay, thank you, Gabby. Moving on. Wow, she yelled. What a lovely surprise. Now, before you guys answer this one here, I'm going to explain something to you with regards to exclamation, interjectives, right? Remember what I taught you about interjectives in poetry? Interjectives is when you say something in emotion, in a lot of emotion. For example, you say the word ish or wow or hooray or yeah, etc. Right? It usually ends with an exclamation mark. So let's do another one quickly. Just give me a second, guys. Okay. All right, let's look at this one and we can all relate to this sentence here. So this boy is saying, Aish, he muttered, I have school tomorrow, right? So guys, when you are changing direct speech to indirect speech, if you're reporting what someone has said and they're using an interjective like Aish or wow or whatever, right? You cannot say that same word that they said. So you can't say, he muttered, Aish, I have school tomorrow. You need to tell me how he felt when he said that word. All right. So when he's saying the word Aish, how is he feeling? He muttered with what's that adverb or adjective? Annoyance. Well done. He muttered frustratedly. Yeah. Well done. How do you spell frustratedly? Right. Or with frustration. Good, Amy. Yeah, I know you guys know the feeling. That's why you can tell me this. Yeah, basically that, right? He muttered with annoyance, or he muttered frustratedly that he had school the next day. Cool, guys? So you are going to help me answer number 12, and I'm going to tell you who is going to help me, right? Let me choose from the participants. So in this category, I want Umulemu, Kian, Kayla, and Amy. 4 of you are going to help me answer number 12. So just tell me when she's yelling, wow, how is she feeling? All right, and then complete the rest of the sentence. So she yelled with something and continue. Yes, Kian, but complete the rest of the sentence. Happiness or pleasure, very good. Surprise, yes, Amy. Excited, excitement. But now, guys, tell me the entire sentence. You can also be disheveled, yes, Christopher. And I only want an answer from the 4 people that I mentioned. This one's a little bit tricky because you need to change it in a way that it makes sense. Okay. And I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So Umulemo says she yelled, "What a lovely surprise!" You guys are missing the emotion that she yelled with. All right. Yeah, that sounds a bit tricky, right? So first of all, she yelled, and I'm going to use what you guys said before. She yelled with excitement, right? You can use excitement, happiness, whatever. That it was a lovely surprise. Can you guys see how I just used common sense to answer this question? All right. So what I just added in was it was a lovely surprise, and she yelled with excitement. So I'm telling you how she's yelling, right? What emotion is she yelling with? And I'm also changing this up a bit because it doesn't sound right if I say she yelled with surprise, excitement, what a lovely surprise. Because then I'm quoting exactly what she's saying. And I don't need to quote exactly what she's saying. I need to report what she said. Okay, moving on. We have 3 more to do. So I want, for this quick answer, I want our last group, Gabby, Christopher, and Amma. You guys are going to help me answer this one here. So he says to me, "What are you doing today?" First, look at the tense. If it's present, you keep the tense. If it's past, you change the tense. Okay, Amma says, he asked me what I am doing today. Just swap the I and am, right? So this is how it's going to look, guys. He asked me what I am doing today. All right, that's how you're going to change a question. He says to me, "What am I doing today?" Well done. All right, moving on, and I think all of you can answer this question. So guys, when you're changing a question to from direct to indirect speech, I'm going to do this one with you guys, and then you guys will help me with the next one, right? David said to me, "How are you?" So you'd write it as, David asked me, change the word said to asked, how I was. Do you guys see that? So you becomes I, all right? Because he's speaking to me. Okay. And obviously, we can't write the question again in the indirect speech. We need to say what he asked, but we're not going to put a question mark in the end. Okay. All right. Help me do the last one, and then we can end the call. She asked the police officer, "Did you arrest the man?" And I'd like all of you to try this one, all the 3 groups that I mentioned. So first, ask yourself, what is the tense of the sentence? The introductory verb is asked, so it is in the past tense. Christopher said she asked the police officer whether he arrested the man. That's one way of saying it. Excellent. Mo is saying, "Did you arrest the man, officer?" Okay, so Mo, I see that you are not changing the direct speech. You need to change it into indirect speech. So tell me what the lady said, but don't quote exactly what she said. Okay? So just to recap, if I have to ask Christopher, how are you today? Right? And I'm asking Christopher this on Monday. And then on Friday, Christopher tells Mo what I told him. So he's going to say, ma'am asked me how I was that day. Do you see how he's not repeating exactly what I'm saying? He's changing the format of my question. Gabby said she asked the police officer, who did he arrest? Check that question. Check that sentence, Gabby. Something's wrong with the sentence construction there. So guys, there are two ways to answer this, right? The first one is you can say she asked the police officer whether he arrested the man. We don't say whether or not, we just say whether, right? Whether means the same thing as if. Or you can also say she asked the police officer if he arrested the man. Okay,